talk about the different types of combustion. We are going to discuss three types of combustion. That's rapid combustion, spontaneous combustion, and explosion. So let's start with rapid combustion. Rapid means something which happens very fast. So in this type of combustion, a substance get burned very fast, and during the process, large amount of heat and light are produced. So heat and light both will be produced. So the best example of this is the gas stove. When you switch on the knob of your gas on and you bring the matchstick over it, what you see? It will catch fire. So the gas stove lit immediately. So this type of combustion where it happens very fast. So the process of combustion got initiated very fast. It did not take a lot of time, and as a result of combustion, heat is produced. And of course, that heat is enough to prepare your food, right? And also light is produced. So in this case, again, you see an ignition source is needed. In this, the external source was burning matchstick or a gas lighter to ignite it. So for rapid combustion, we always need an external source to ignite a particular substance. Another example is of petrol, diesel. There also you need an external source. So that is rapid combustion. Heat is produced, light is produced, and the combustion process happens very, very fast. Okay? So now let's talk about explosion. Explosion is very closely associated with rapid combustion. It's basically like rapid combustion, but here, other than heat and light, sound is also produced. So, this combustion is accompanied by heat, light, as well as sound. So, the best example of explosion would be the firecrackers. So, during any festival, you often fire the crackers. So, you see, they produce light, they also produce a lot of heat, and at the same time, they also produce a lot of sound. Even the bombs, they are also examples of explosion because there also combustion happens and heat is produced, light is produced, and sound is also produced. So that is explosion. Here, now the next third type of combustion, that is spontaneous combustion. Here is the sudden ignition of a substance on its own. So here no external source is needed. So the substance will ignite on its own. So that is why it's called spontaneous. Spontaneous means sudden. Here you do not require anything. The substance catch fire on its own. So one example is phosphorus. We know that phosphorus is highly reactive in presence of oxygen, and that is why it's not kept exposed to air. Then it will catch fire. So we store it inside water because phosphorus does not react with water. So here there is no external ignition source needed. So phosphorus to catch fire, you do not need to do anything. It will on its own catch fire. The other example is of coal fires. Coal is formed by the dead plants deep down the earth, right? In fact, formation of coal happens under the influence of high temperature and high pressure. Now, there are thousands of coal fire which are burning around the world. Some of them are even difficult to locate because they are deep down. Some of them can never be extinguished because the coal fires have separated so much. As I told you, coal has an auto ignition temperature of 500 degrees Celsius. So that means if you heat coal to temperature of 500 degrees Celsius, they will get ignited on its own. That is what exactly happens in the coal mines due to which this coal fires take place. Now, when the temperature increases too much there, so the coal catch fire, and that is an example of a spontaneous combustion. So the important difference between rapid and spontaneous combustion is that in rapid combustion, external source is needed. In spontaneous combustion, the substance undergo combustion on its own. No external source is needed. Other example is the forest fires. You would have seen in dense forests, they often catch fire on their own when the temperature becomes very high. If you compare a green leaf and a dry leaf, it it's easier to burn the dry leaf. It catches fire easily because the green leaf has a lot of water. As long as it have water, water will try to keep the substance cool, right? So therefore what happens, the leaf will not be able to reach its ignition temperature. But in case of dry leaf, water is not there, so it will reach its ignition temperature quickly and it will catch fire. So in case of forest also, normally forests contain trees and trees have moisture in them. But when the weather becomes very, very hot, what happens? All the moisture gets evaporated. So there is not much water left in the trees. So they become very dry. And in such situation, it becomes easier for them to reach their ignition temperature when the temperature in the surrounding is very high. And once they reach their ignition temperature, they can catch fire. So forest fires, which happens in this way, is also an example of spontaneous combustion because it happens suddenly on its own without any external ignition source.